Alrighty, we are back and talking NBA now. And big news over this last weekend, the trade from I just lost their name, Washington, trade of Russell Wilson to the Lakers.
Westbrook.
Russell Westbrook, not Wilson.
Wilson's a quarterback.
I get that. I get that over all the time. I think I've done that like 3 times on this podcast now. Russell Wilson, not from the DC. Russell Westbrook for what they trade Kuzma,
Yeah, I saw Kuzma.
Harrell,
I can't remember who else, but and then I think
Kuzma, Harrell, and Cadavius Caldwell Pope.
Oh yeah, that's right.
That,
And then I think they also included 2 first-round picks as well. So
I think so.
quite a haul for Russell Westbrook, and obviously he's an established player. Averages triple doubles all the time. Great player, and I think he will actually fit in quite well with an aging LeBron James and uh, the eyebrow.
Yeah, AD.
AD, there you go.
I don't know if it's gonna fit. I don't think it's gonna. I think they gave up too much. I don't know why they didn't play Harrell more in the playoffs.
Yeah, I don't know. So just speaking pure or not analytics, hypothetical. Um,
Sure.
so obviously LeBron's pretty ball dominant player, but he's definitely getting up there in age. I don't want to say he's not a good player anymore because he definitely is, but I don't think he can be as
Right.
ball dominant as he has been and expect to do a lot of damage. Uh, Westbrook's quite a bit younger than LeBron, so if he's their ball dominant guard and brings the ball up and down the court, he creates quite a bit. So I think that's going to help AD down below and creating a lot of those opportunities where he can just slam it home essentially on alley oops, or if he just clears out the space and then gets him open on a cut. LeBron can definitely be ball dominant as well, like I said, but I feel like this move, other than them only having like 4 active players signed, so you don't really know how the rest of the team's going to shape out, but it's probably going to be a bunch of guys on veteran minimum contracts and things like that. And then I don't even, did they even have any draft picks, or did they traded all those away with AD and all that?
I don't remember seeing one.
I don't think they had any draft picks. So yeah, it's probably going to just be a bunch of old guys with minimum contracts that are trying to win a ring. So it's going to be interesting, but I actually like the move for the Lakers. Obviously, I'm not a Lakers fan, but I think it could work out for them to get a shot of youth-ish compared to what they've been running with. So
I kind of think that they're going to have a very exciting team to watch. It's not going to be a boring team. I don't think it's going to be a very effective team though. I don't see them being in the top like 4 in the West next year. And I don't see them definitely not making it in the playoffs. Because I just see which is horrible to say, I guess, but an aging LeBron. He can't take a team to the playoffs single-handedly anymore.
no,
And you have to have a healthy AD.
I think
I mean,
that's going
look
to
at
be the
this
main
year's.
thing. Is if
Yeah,
he can stay healthy.
that's the biggest option. Russell, not Wilson, but Westbrook, uh, can be good, but he's never been able to lead a team through the playoffs.
No, he has not.
So they are going to have to change their identity a bunch as players to make it work. And I think LeBron is the huge key because isn't he like famous for being that having that saying like you need to play your role, like you nobody's like you there's not going to be these like Kevin Durant's or whatever, LeBron James is everywhere, so you need to play your role. And
Yeah.
I think his role is changing,
Yep, for
but he
sure.
needs to accept it.
I think he knows
And
that.
yeah. Well, I kind of do too. It'll be just very interesting watching him go through that progression because everybody doesn't want to get old.
Right.
He's going to
But
remember.
I think
Oh,
he
I
wants
used
to
to.
extend his career long enough so he can play with his son. And his son's 16 now, I think. Getting pretty close to being in the league, so I think his contract is lined up where I think it's over after either this year or the following year with the Lakers, and then he'll go wherever his son gets drafted to, if I remember right. So it's going to be interesting. I definitely think he knows he's not the player he once was, but he still can be dominant and still is a great
Yeah.
player. So, but yeah, like you said, I think the key is going to be for them keeping AD healthy throughout the year, and they'll have to approach that playoffs as let's just get into the dance and then we'll see what happens from there, rather than trying to take the 1 seed, because that's not sustainable when you have an aging core and guys that are injury prone such as AD. So
Yeah.
but moving on from a team I don't like to a team I love, and that is the Golden State Warriors. They had their draft, obviously, and there was a lot of speculation around their draft because they were rumored to be wanting to trade their picks for an established player, and possibly bundle in like Wiggins or Draymond, whatever, whoever it might be, to help free up some salary for the trade to go through. But they stood pat, and they drafted their picks at 7 and 14. They got Jonathan Kuminga and Moses Moody, and their draft has widely been regarded as one of the best drafts in the entire NBA. Kuminga was pretty much considered a top 5 talent, and they got him at 7. And then Moses Moody was considered a top 10 talent, and they got him at 14. So both of them were just best player available. And listening to their GM, he basically said, like, we don't expect you guys to jump in right away and make a splash. If you can, that's great. But we're going to win now, and you guys are going to be a huge part of the future. So whatever role you guys carve out for yourselves, we'll make it work, but we want you to know we're excited about it and all that. So, and just a rumor I heard as the draft was happening, there was a rumor that the 76ers asked the Warriors for their 7th pick, their 14th pick, James Wiseman, and Andrew Wiggins, plus 2 future first-round picks for Ben Simmons.
What a joke.
And if this is a true rumor, which it's been widely suggested that it is, the 76ers clearly have no reality at all. Like,
no sense of
yeah,
reality.
no sense of reality at all. That's asking for so much. Like, Wiseman was a number 2 pick overall. Wiggins was number 1 pick overall. Plus, they want 2 future firsts and the first round, both first round drafts this year. So, yeah, it was quickly dismissed as a no thank you. And I've heard that they've been asking similar packages from other teams. So it's just like we were talking about a little bit off air. Ben Simmons is a great player, but he doesn't fit the Warriors, for one. But two, I think he ends up back with them, and I don't know what they're going to do with him, but it's just weird because, like, Doc Rivers basically said that he doesn't think he can win a championship with him.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
I could see that. What he did in the Eastern Conference Finals, even the playoffs weren't really a big deal for him. This is where he's meant to shine. He's there. I mean, outside of Embiid, he's the guy. He's the guy that needs to lead the team. And he didn't just disappear. He was just gone.
Yeah.
Like, they was a zero factor. He was more hurting them than anything. I don't think anybody's going to forget that pass right under the basket.
Yeah.
Nobody will forget that.
Or the free throws.
Yeah. Holy cow.
Yeah, it was.
I don't think I've ever seen that bad of free throws.
Yeah, and we just watched Giannis in the playoffs.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's. I don't know what they're planning to do with him, but it doesn't sound like they want him. But it also doesn't sound like they really want to get rid of him either, based on the packages they're offering people.
Right.
So
I don't
it's.
know if they're like trying to convince others that he's this like mega talent.
And I
Like, oh,
think
it's
he
Ben
could be
Simmons. You want him.
if he found his shot, but it's like basically disappeared since he left college. He hasn't been able to shoot very well, and that's what modern NBA is. You see all these guys like Chris Middleton, and I mean, I could go on, but Chris Middleton was a
Yeah.
example during the finals of just a guy that can shoot from anywhere on the court, and he was just a major threat. And that's not what Ben Simmons is right now. He's a guard that basically has to play under the rim and use his size to beat the other guards that are guarding him. So I don't know. It's just weird. But yeah, I think that's all I had for NBA. Unless you had anything to add.
I wanted to ask you a question about. I know it's just a major hypothetical, but there's also been those trade rumors of Lillard.
Ooh.
And what would you give up to get Lillard?
I don't know. I mean, Wiggins.
Would you trade that package, the 714 Wiggins, for Lillard?
Yes, I think so. I'm just looking at it again.
Maybe.
To make sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean.
714 Wiseman, Wiggins, 2 first rounders.
It's easy to say yeah because like you don't know what Kuminga and Moody are going to be, and you know what Lillard is. I think for the immediate impact he would have, I would say yes, because that's going to give him a chance to win probably at least 2 or 3 more championships, at least be in it. But giving up Wiseman and obviously 2 futures, first, and Wiggins, it's tough, but Wiggins has to go for the contract reasons. They just can't make his contract hits too big. I don't know. I guess I would say yes. If it were for Dame Lillard, I would give up that trade package. But for Ben Simmons, no, I would have laughed him out of the building.
Yeah. They should get fired for even suggesting it. But I think I'm there with you. For Lillard, I think it's worth it. I think James Wiseman is going to be phenomenal in this league. So it would be very hard to give him up. And I really like Wiggins anyway. I think he's just a fantastic player, just all around athlete, person, whatever. But it would be very difficult for Lillard. I would do it, but it would be hard pressed doing it.
Yeah. Well,
I think it would just.
Like that is one other thing I wanted to bring up. Lillard did say he has no interest in being traded. And I don't know if that's just grandstanding right now or if he was just trying to get the Olympics out of the way first before he worries about what's going on with the Trailblazers. And that could be it. But Bradley Beal, he basically signed off on the Russell Westbrook trade. And then he also said he has no desire to leave D.C. And the Warriors were rumored on wanting Bradley Beal and trading for him. So I don't know what's going on with that, but I think the Warriors need to lock up Steph because this is his contract year. I think they need to get that taken care of first and then worry about everything else that will be. We've still got a lot of offseason left, so I'm not exactly worried about it, but I think they need to add another piece before they're ready to compete for next year completely. Obviously, if Wiseman comes back strong from his injury and has a little bit more defined role in the offense and defense, they could compete with their current core. But there's a lot of ifs. Like if Clay comes back even 90% of what he was, if Wiseman's going to be ready to help them right now. Obviously, we we know what Steph can do. We know what Wiggins can do. We know what Draymond does on the defensive side. But even Draymond, he has to play better on offense if they're going to want to win. He basically, this whole season, was just a passing forward. Didn't score much. Wouldn't even take wide open threes. So, I don't know. I think you're gonna see this year be the year where things either pan out or they start to blow it up because that core is aging. You got Draymond, Steph, Clay. They're all about the same in terms of service time in the league. So I don't know. This is probably I don't want to say do or die season for the Warriors, but I think it's going to be either put up or shut up, and they'll start to blow up the rest of the core. So. But yeah, I don't know.
Crazy.
What about Bradley Beal? Would you trade for him in that same package? You said
See,
yes
I thought
for
about
Dame?
that too. It'd be hard to make that move. Like, I know Bradley Beal was number 2 in scoring last year, so it's not like scoring would be a problem. You know what I mean? I just think Lillard would be so much more fun to watch.
Yeah.
And all of them, between the 3 of them, could shoot from anywhere.
Yeah.
Beal could probably be around the same thing, but I just think Lillard would be so much more fun.
Yeah.
So it'd probably be a yes for Lillard and a no for Beal.
I was thinking the same thing. Like, I love Beal as a player, but it seems like he's one of those ball-dominant guys too, and that's not how the Warriors' offense works. They work on spacing and passing, and that's when you saw him start to struggle a lot last year is when Steph went out and that spacing went away. When he came back, they never really truly recovered. I think they had to learn how to play without him, and that could have been beneficial, but they had to change their whole offense to do so. And then once he came back, they never really got back in the groove. And yeah, like I said, if you had Dame, Steph, and Clay all with that catch and shoot mentality, like anywhere on the court, the defense would have to be just to try to prevent them from draining all those threes. But and then Wiseman could eat down below.
Exactly. There would be no problem with the pick and roll. Yeah. You would have they could run that the entire offense. And you would either have a wide open 3 or a wide open dunk. And it would be senseless. There'd be no problem. And they would just be what I saw in the All-Star game with Lillard and Steph. I was just salivating, like, please, God, make that happen.
Yep. It would be so much fun to see it.
Yeah, any team that they went and played on, I would watch religiously.
No.
Any team. It would be so much fun to watch.
It would, but I want it to happen on my team.
Yeah. Exactly.
I don't want to see it happen. I don't want to see it happen on Portland.
Yeah, go to Portland or something.
But anyway, I think that's something the entire NBA would either love to see or hate to see. If your team's playing them, probably wouldn't like to see it, but if they weren't playing your team, you would love to see it. So
yeah, anyway. I would pick Lillard over Durant.
Oh yeah.
If you could pick somebody on your team.
Well, and the other tough thing you got to look at though is they wouldn't be playing much defense because Steph and Dame
you would need
aren't known for their defense. Well, and you got to get rid of him because his contract.
Yeah.
So it'd be tough.
You would need the defensive players, and
I mean, you'd have Wiggins and Draymond. They're definitely more defensive-minded. They'd pretty much have to be on the court all the time. Clay's a great two-way player. He's great on both sides of the ball. But yeah, at the guard position, it'd be Steph and Dame just chasing people, trying to keep them from scoring.
It'd be fun to watch.
But it would be fun to watch. Like, oh yeah, I just gave up a layup, but watch me hit this 3 from 40 feet back to make up for it. So
because they could just be on either side of the court.
Can you imagine?
You got a guard
they both hang out at the logos, and you'd have to have your defense would be spread out that far the entire time.
imagine trying to
If you
double
could get
team him.
Wiggins on that team, cutting to the lane, holy smokes, that would be unbelievable. But anyway, that's
What
we'll have
ifs?
to see what happens because obviously
Yeah.
NBA doesn't start for another 2 months. No, they start in October, huh?
I don't know.
I think it is October. So we're not too far away from another NBA season, but there's enough time that teams are still making moves and trying to make salary work out and trades and all that. So definitely interested and excited for this upcoming season for the Warriors. And then just one parting note, we'll talk about more when Kyle's back on, but little MLB action going on right now. Obviously, Kyle's at the Pittsburgh game, but the A's game is also going on right now. They finally have all their trade pieces playing today, and they are up 8-3 over LA. So
Wow.
good game, and it looks like these trade pieces will probably help them out for their postseason run. So we'll see what happens with that. But anything else you have to add before we end this?
October 19th is start of the NBA season.
That's coming up quick.
Yeah.
And NFL starts. NFL starts September 5th or something like that. So
5th, I want to say. Have to start getting your fantasy teams ready.
yeah, we're gonna start that up. So I don't know if you're gonna be in. I don't know how we'll make that work with pound to dollar conversions, but
it's automatic conversion.
All right.
PayPal.
You won't be paying anyway, right? Just gonna win the whole thing, then you don't have to worry about paying.
I did the last time we had a fantasy league, and then you didn't pay me.
You're a damn liar.
No, it's true.
Oh yeah, that was the year that someone quit, and then everyone protested the playoffs and everything. Yeah, that was great.
Well, I was one person who protested the playoffs after I won the championship.
Yeah. Anywho, that won't happen again because we didn't let that person back in. So
cool.
We've had 12 successful seasons and one bad one. So here we go for 13.
Lucky number 13.
All right. Well, thanks for joining. I'll talk to you next week.
Appreciate joining us. Follow us, like and follow as many platforms as you can.
Yeah, and get those questions in. We definitely want to make a point to get some fan engagement, have some mailbags and things like that where we can read your questions on there. As always, we have Anchor, so if you want to leave any voice messages, either for us to read for you or if you want to be featured on here, we can actually import your voice and make it part of the podcast. So definitely get involved. We're constantly on the socials, so just watch for us there, and we're excited to get this thing rolling. Thanks for tuning in.